Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. A friend of the program, Lindsay, is back in the news here. Actually, an article was written about her in the Washington Post. We're going to get into that in a second. Plus, she's part of a great support system for other reality TV stars, and it's good to see credit come her way for a lot of the work she's been putting in behind the scenes. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals for stand-up show updates. This Monday, Memorial Day, I'll be in Nashville for a stand-up show at Zany's, and then the following week, I'll be in New York City. Tickets and links for those, links for the tickets for the New York show are on my Instagram at DNeals. And if you want to get some juicy content, it's on today's Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. I actually discussed with folks a lot of the different people that are coming on to work with Dave. Drive with Dave. Have a listen. Didn't hear back, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, thanks a lot for not even responding. She messaged me this morning and said, oh my God. So anyway, if you want to hear who's responding, who's not, some salty tea, leave it on the Patreon. Don't share it outside the Patreon. That's for the private members only. Okay, so here's the Washington Post article featuring Lindsay. It's in the pop culture version of the article. It's actually from last week, but we're just learning about this today. The support system among Black reality TV stars who make history. Stars such as Big Brother winner Taylor Hale and Bachelorette lead Lindsay formed a bond after becoming reality show first. So there's a whole article about Taylor Hale, but because we are featuring Lindsay here, let's skip to the part where it talks about Lindsay. Well, and again, you can go check this out, WashingtonPost.com. One reality TV alum who has been especially helpful for Hale is Lindsay, the Texas attorney who made history of her own in 2017 as the first Black star of The Bachelorette. She parlayed her time on the show into becoming a TV personality, extra, correspondent, podcaster, and author. The impetus for Hale's Los Angeles trip was to attend the launch party for Lindsay's new book. Rachel has been so crucial in helping me build a good team, one that's not taking advantage of me, one that understands the intricacies of what I need as a Black woman in LA. It shows me how important it is that we build this network, a sisterhood. She noted that the community goes even further than just sisterhood because the person who connected them was attorney Xavier Prather, who also made history a year before Hale as the first Black winner of Big Brother and happened to know Lindsay from law school. I considered Rachel my reality TV big sister, so I wanted Taylor to be able to have that person as well, said Prather 28. It's all of us protecting each other, and the way that Rachel is taking care of me and other people like me, from what I've heard, it makes me excited to be somebody else's Rachel one day. Lindsay remembers what it was like to walk off a reality show when all of a sudden you're the hottest new star of the moment. It was isolating experience as the first Black lead of ABC's The Bachelorette, she recalled, even though she was added to a very helpful group chat of former bachelorettes. No one could completely understand her experience. Oh, of course. I mean, Lindsay went through things that Hannah Brown could have never understood or other former leads. Of course. I think we could all agree to that. Even if we don't understand that, we know obviously she went through hell in different ways through a lot of the comments she had to receive from a fan base. It's important for women to support women, Lindsay said. It goes even deeper with Black women supporting Black women when a lot of times you don't see that reaffirmed in public. This is somebody who is a first, and she's made history in a very similar way that I did, Lindsay said in a phone interview speaking about Hale. It was natural, if you need me, I'm here type situation. So it's very, very cool to see the bond that exists here from people knowing, like, look, this publicist is good to work with, or this one didn't help me out. You know, all the types of things we don't think of as just like audience members, that they have to protect themselves, not be caught into situations where they're working for somebody who's exploitative, all of that. It's also a little different when we navigate this world separate from our white counterparts who are on very similar shows. The path is a little easier for them because it's been done before, Lindsay said. People are more accepting of them. They understand those types of leads. They get it, whereas we're navigating new territory. You need somebody to help you. That can be a very lonely place to be. Lindsay publicly cut ties with the Bachelor franchise 2 years ago after reaching a breaking point over how the series dealt with its many race issues. But she said she's always open to talking to people of color who are on the show and seeking advice, and tells them, if you want to reach out to me, I'm there. We're like our own sorority and fraternity within the franchise, she said. So anyway, it just goes to show. People will leave comments. I read them all the time. Oh, if she's so over the show, why does she still talk about it? Which, again, is the most rubbish thing you could say. It's the most low IQ sort of response. The Bachelor is a big part of where she comes from. She is aware of that, but at the same time, she felt like the show didn't live up to what she wanted it to be. And good for her for moving on and setting boundaries and all those things. I'll just never understand people who disagree with that. I just won't. I don't understand it. We don't know what she went through. We can only imagine. So here she is at the Gracie's Awards, All Women in Media. Let's have a listen to what Rachel had to say as she's the digital correspondent.
As you can see, I am en route and I am headed to the Gracie Awards. I am so honored to once again be their social media ambassador, and I will be taking you on the red carpet, behind the scenes, giving you exclusive content where I will be talking to the most amazing women, attendees, presenters, honorees. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the Gracie Awards, it is all about honoring women and programming and individuals across all media platforms for the wonderful work that they do that is for women, by women, and about women. So follow along, because here we go.
By the way, do you understand, right, that what she just did is not easy? She just spouted out 30 seconds of facts. We have to understand, when you see someone talk, you go, oh yeah, that's not bad. She didn't flub one line there. Can we not just give some respect? So there she is doing her, red carpet conversations. There it is, just crushing the red carpet as you do.
Guys, as promised.
Now, I have to say, they gave her this little microphone, and I'm not here to criticize her audio, but, spend a couple $100 and get a proper cardioid microphone that cuts out all the external noise. These are very loud rooms. She doesn't hear feedback, so she can't tell that she's peeking into the microphone. It's not her fault whatsoever. I just think they could have done a better job here.
Yes, I am taking you behind the scenes of the Gracie Awards. So where we are right now, if you see this is what we call the calm before the storm. This is the lobby area where people are mingling, having a little cocktail, getting to know one another, networking with each other, and this all happens before they go inside.
Okay, so then she does some interviews.
All right, guys, last time we talked, this room was just filling up. As you can see, the party has already started for the 48th Annual Gracie Awards.
So the fingernails look great here. So anyway, she's doing great work. I did want to share also their commentary with the podcast, which is, I don't know, maybe they thought the podcast would be as big as it is, but I mean, it's really growing in size. I think it actually was nominated for some awards, but let's have a listen to their comments on the writer's strike.
Gridlock in Hollywood. Writer's strike. Crippling the town. Okay, Rachel. The Writers Guild of America, which represents 11,500 writers, is on strike officially. The night of May 1st, the writers were unable to negotiate a deal with the studios, and they are now officially on strike. There are probably a lot of people out there that are wondering what this means. This means that most productions that would have been coming up are effectively shut down because it's very hard, productions of scripted things. A lot of scripted stuff and anything that has a writer, right? So you're talking about...
That is unionized.
You're talking about shows like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert already shut down. Saturday Night Live this week was supposed to be hosted by Pete Davidson. Shut down, not happening. All those shows rely on talent from the WGA, and those guys aren't working. They are shutting down. Also, a lot of people will be shutting down and not moving forward on productions in solidarity with the WGA.
Really?
Sure. I mean, a lot of those
people
hosts...
will actually shut down productions, full productions, in solidarity, even though they're not.
I mean, some of those shows could theoretically move on without writers. Like, for example, it's my understanding that during the first writer's strike, that Jon Stewart wrote all of the stuff himself and then continue to do the Daily Show, or a couple of people did that. We have to make sure that that's real. So theoretically, like, I guess The View has writers, and other places like that, they have writers. So you could go and do those shows without the writers. And if a guy like Colbert probably wanted to do his show without a writer, he could it's probably a little bit harder for him, but it's an interview show. and he could probably get that stuff, but some of that is in solidarity with the writers. And remember now, there are other people that are doing stuff like stars that won't go to interviews, that won't promote shows, that won't do all of that stuff. Oh, and that
Drew Barrymore just pulled out of hosting the MTV Awards
in solidarity with the writers.
I misheard you. I thought that you were saying that just.
By the way, she said Drew Barrymore pulled out of the MTV Awards, which I'm sure she did, but it's kind of funny that you can use the writer's strike to not want to do things, kind of like COVID. Oh, I got COVID. I can't go to my, my niece's quinceañera. It's like, oh yeah, well, writer's strike. I can't make the bed. You know what I mean? In solidarity, brother, no work being done here, but obviously, look, I mean, so the reason I brought up this clip is because Higher Learning, their podcast, discusses a lot of the news that's going on in the entertainment world and how it relates to the world we all live in. So we might be detached from the writer's strike and not exactly understand what's going on, but there aren't many unions that are left that get news out there for the work that they're doing. We know Starbucks, there's been, the efforts to unionize, and a lot of Starbucks, the corporation, has tried to bust those efforts. Same thing can be said for Walmart or Amazon. And it's good when you can see collectively people come together to bargain and say, we need a better deal out there. And what's very interesting about the writer's strike is it's kind of exactly what Rachel Lindsay's doing. She's on a bachelor strike. She's decided not to go on the show because all she can do is speak from her own place and say, they're not providing me what I believe are the right tools that are going to lead to successful conversations and productivity, so I'm not doing it. So she might not be vocally out there on the streets picketing The Bachelor, but she's created boundaries to say, this is what I'm all about, and I will not be a part of a system that doesn't live up to that. So when they support the writer strikes and things like that, I think that's a good thing. My union, SAG, is in the process of voting to go on strike right now. I say bring it all on. It's almost like when one kid gets the chicken pox and then all of a sudden you want your other kids to get chicken pox. All right, writers guilds on strike. Let's get SAG a better deal too. And you have to understand, it's not like they're asking for more than they used to have. They're asking for it to just continue. So by that I mean there's with the world of streaming coming out, corporations have found ways to automate a lot of things. They've found ways to create more content, pay writers, pay actors less money, and newsflash, the streaming sites are making billions. Same can be said for Walmart and Amazon. They found ways to automate, they found ways to innovate, and that never got passed down to the employees, to the middle class, and I think we should all be raising arms in that good fight. But either way, congrats to Rachel Lindsay for all she's got going on. Would you like to see her on an episode of Driving with Dave? Do me a favor. If you do, reach out to her and say, hey, we'd love to see you on Driving with Dave. Tag me in it, and we're going to try to get her on there. I think she would do it. I think Rachel Lindsay would enjoy a good conversation in the Prius, but we'll have to see how it all goes. All right, folks, let me know what you think. That's it for this video. Go join us on the Patreon if you want to get some tea, because I gave it to you today, folks. Patreon.com/Dave Neal.